We're live.
It's been a minute. It's going to take us a little bit to catch on.
Yep.
We're live now.
We are live. Yep. Just we'll let everybody kind of jump on here for a minute. Then we'll go in and talk about a little bit of stuff here. And
if we're still relevant, hopefully people jump in to see us. We haven't been. I think we still run basketball tournaments, right, Tom?
Oh, absolutely.
NBA started.
All right, guys, we're allowing everybody just give a few minutes here for everybody to jump on, and then we'll get started with our live tonight. Just giving a little update of kind of what's going on in our world and kind of looking ahead to the fall. So, all right, guys, we got about 25, 30 people on here right now, so let's go ahead and get started. So, guys, welcome back to another edition of the GBA Show Live. You know, it's been a little bit since we've been on here, and we just felt that we needed to get on here and give everybody an update on what's going on here in the next couple weeks, and then also kind of looking ahead to the fall. I know we've had some things on the schedule the last few weeks, and unfortunately, due to the guidelines here in Ohio, we've had to cancel those events as the events that we host and run do not fall under those guidelines from the governor. So once again, we are joined by Jeff Ferguson, the owner of GBA Basketball, and the voice of GBA, the man himself, Tommy Strasser. Guys, thanks for joining us again tonight.
Hey,
For sure.
It's good to get together.
Yeah, I think it's good to address just a couple things. We're getting a lot of people that I think that appreciate what we're doing in our stance, but some people don't understand why we are not playing and why other tournaments or intra-club scrimmages is going on. And I think it's good to just kind of bring that out, answer any questions. Anybody that's watching, if you have questions, feel free to post them up on the comments section from wherever you're watching from, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, and we'll answer your questions now. But John, you could just give an update of first of all, I guess we could talk about why we're not, hosting the intra-club scrimmages. And as we've posted before, we really don't fit into that. We're not in control of any club or group's decision. We don't take your money. We don't have any, you basically are playing in our tournament. So you guys are all individual clubs. And as you can see with the OHSAA, I think posted something or whatever the other day, and they're waiting to get the governors, and the states standing on what, scrimmage and what they do. I know they said that football scrimmages couldn't even take place. So obviously basketball can't take place. Intra-club is your group of 2 or 3 teams or whatever that practice daily or weekly that you can play together with those groups. We feel, whether we're not political, we're not saying, that we're one way or another stance, but when we're told what to do and give orders, we try to follow them. And we want to respect the governor. And whether you agree with it or you don't, it's in our interest when we met as a group. Number one, me being the owner and John being the co-owner, whatever, we don't want any of our staff to come and work for us and run a tournament and would happen to catch the virus or something and take it back, to their family members. It just looks, we would not want any, coach, player, parent come in and something happened and we get a phone call that, hey, the virus or whatever happened at a GBA event. We could not live with that. We want to run tournaments more than anybody. This is our living. We love what we do. We love putting on events, and we hate, seeing everybody going to other locations. But we do not blame you one bit. We encourage you to go find the people that are doing the tournaments, be safe. And, when we think it's safe, then we'll come back, whether it's out of state, in state, wherever you're playing at. We encourage you, the teams that want to play, to go and play. And I think that's the biggest thing. But in our it's bigger than just, running weekend scrimmages. And, wouldn't even be games. They would just be scrimmages where we give you 2 games a day. We've had locations in Columbus and Cincinnati every weekend. We continue to have locations if they lift the ban that we could do an event, then that's what we'll do. And John could talk to you about the upcoming events that we have. And I know it's very frustrating every week when you see on our website canceled for the week or whatever, but it's just, this is just, we're not saying we're right or wrong. This is our feeling. We have a lot of close friends and people that's been in our tournaments for years. And until you're put in that situation and you have to make the decision whether you want to jeopardize 1,000 people, 2,000 people, for us, it's not worth it when there's other events and teams are going to Indiana and playing and wherever that it's allowed. We just, until we get the approval, this is our stance and this is what we're doing. So nobody's more disappointed than us because we want to play, but we want to, we think that we have a pretty reputable company and been in business for 20 years and we will continue to do that. And I want to look people in the eye and know that we're doing everything possible and we're doing things the right way or at least our way. I'm not saying that the people that's doing the other events are wrong. I'm just saying this is how we feel and this is what we want to do. So,
well, and I think you hit it good there, Jeff. Well, our business for the last 20 years has been, we don't have teams. So first of all is you hit it exactly right with what is allowed and what's going on is we don't have teams. We don't have anybody that's part of our organization. We run the events. And second of all is, the GBA runs tournaments and events. That's what we've done. That's what we've done for the last 20 plus years with what we've done. So we don't host scrimmages or just host games. So if we can't run an event or we can't run a tournament under the guidelines that's provided or issued by our state, then we're just not going to do it. And as you said, not only that, we're going to follow the guidelines, but also for the safety of our staff, for our players, coaches, anybody else that's part of the GBA, and we've had people that's part of the GBA family that's Lisa Hill, for example, she's still, everyone knows Lisa and we, with the Lauren Hill Classic and things like that, she's been very sick and battling this virus. So we're just going to continue. And as you said, it's our stance and we're going to do things our way and we're going to follow the things. And if we can't host an event or we can't run a tournament, in the state of Ohio, then we're just not going to do that.
Right. And it's easier said than done when you're sitting back but when I have to make the decision for, the fourth grade kids up through high school kids and their families and their extended families. Not only that, it's not just the people that's there, but it's, you're going to visit grandma and grandpa and you're doing things. And it's just, it's not worth it for us. This is our business? Yes. Are we making any money? No, but that's okay. We'll tighten things up. We'll do what we need to do. We're not going anywhere. We already are working, been to a couple different places, got some new tournaments lined up for next year and are going to be, next year is going to be our biggest and best year. So we are putting things together for that now, but it's just in our interest now that we think that, we're just going to wait. We waited this long. We're not going to try to change that, so.
And I know, Tommy, you can kind of elaborate on this a little bit. I know everything that we have done, talking about running events and putting things out there, like we have included our whole staff, hey, what do you guys think? Well, what's your feedback? And kind of what's your stance? And Tommy, you can kind of, attest to that on how we've been doing this. So it's just, yes, Jeff is when it comes to making the final decision, it's Jeff, but everybody has been included in what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, guys, when you talk about the guidelines and it talking about, your clubs and inter squad scrimmages and stuff like that, we don't have any clubs. Now, we could take the guidelines and kind of maneuver them around and kind of stretch them to falsely create a tournament. But, I appreciate the ethics that, you built the GBA on. And I know it's tough in one way when people respond on social media. I know their frustration that a tournament's been canceled, but in a way it's a positive because we know we got so many people that want to play in the GBA, and it's good that they're frustrated because it shows how bad. And I tell you, nobody wants to be out there with the GBA nation than us. But we miss the interaction and putting on the tournaments, and we've taken the positive approach. When you have to cancel the tournaments, that means you have them set up, hoping things get cleared and they drop some of these guidelines. And if they do, we've got the tournaments, the venues ready to go. So we've tried to stay ahead of this for when things get cleared. We're not, trying to find venues. So that's another reason the tournaments have been canceled. We're ready whenever we get a chance.
Yeah, we've definitely put in a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to get things organized, writing, 15-page proposals, everything, how we would to, handle the event or the tournament if it was opened. And unfortunately here in the state of Ohio, we just haven't been able to do that. And, and with that being said, in Indiana, they are allowed to do that. And under their guidelines by their governor, and we've encouraged our GBA teams, go play. It's an opportunity. If they're playing in Indiana, then go play. If they're playing in Pennsylvania, they're playing whatever state it is that, obviously with this whole situation, it's unfortunate that every area, every state is not on the same level. So some places are able to do things, some places are not. And unfortunately, whether you agree or not agree, here in the state of Ohio, we're still under the guidelines where we just cannot host a tournament or an event.
And we're not, and I'm not smart enough to be political, so I don't know what they're talking about. So we're doing what they're saying. We're not saying it's right or wrong. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. This is a fake virus. This is a real virus. Whatever it is, but when it's you're on the line and you've got to account for these people. It's in our interest that if the state says no. And when I specifically do these, John did a 15-page proposal, to a couple health departments, and we call them and they said, listen, maybe we can't stop you, maybe we can't do this, but we definitely suggest for your people, your coaches, your players, and your fans and your staff, not to do that. Then that's the answer. That's what and I respect them. And they're in the position, and I respect their position, and that's why we do it. But it's frustrating because you got people calling us asking to play, or hey, they're playing here, they're playing there, they're playing here, and I'm not criticizing those people. If chances are everything is fine and whatever, so that's great. But we couldn't deal with the circumstances if something would happen at one of our events, and that's why we decide to wait. We decide to make. And we're not done yet. I mean, we still have events scheduled. We still have places reserved. We still have some other things that John will talk to you that's coming up. And and we're on the move already, working for other things. So adding things for next year. And
yeah. And Jeff, you made an excellent point, stressing you may not agree with it or you may not like it. But when they ask you to do this, you do it. It's not whether you agree, it's the respect you need to show for the ones above you making decisions. So, we've been frustrated, but, I think we've done the right thing in doing what we've been asked from the governor.
And the bottom line is what we do at GBA, we just do not fall under the guidelines. What we do year after year for the last 20 years, it does not fall under those guidelines. And as we said earlier, some of those, because we don't have teams involved, and we just run tournaments and events, and in the state of Ohio, that's just not allowed. So the bottom line is that's just why we followed it, and that's just what we do. So and as Jeff kind of transitioning a little bit, as he said, we're not done. So we still have some things on the schedule. We're still very optimistic that things are going to happen here at some point. We have unfortunately, this coming weekend, we had the GBA Nationals, and we rescheduled that tri-state championship events that had to be canceled. Still fall, doesn't fall under what we do. The guidelines does not allow for that.
Right now, that event is under West Virginia guidelines. So if Ohio doesn't open up, but West Virginia does, or opens it up to where we can do that, then we will still do the one in Wheeling, West Virginia, which is a brand new 6-court, beautiful facility. So, And we have some other things lined up too. And then depending on, John will tell you a few events that we have, but we could be adding to those depending on what happens with the OHSAA. And if teams are, if things are pushed back, we may extend our season another month, depending on what opens up. If volleyball and high school sports don't start, till October, and if something's in September that we could run and it opens up, or allows us to do small events, then we'll do those as well.
Yeah, and we have some dates, and so kind of looking forward or a little bit. We have the August 15th and 16th weekend down in Cincinnati. We have the Pre-Exposure Classic that we host with Certified Basketball and Ryan Polk. We still have that on the schedule. We're still hopeful for that. We have 2 locations Labor Day weekend, one in Cincinnati and one in Granville, Ohio, which is up in Columbus. So we have those 2 events still on the schedule. And then jumping ahead, we're excited. We still plan to go full steam ahead with our leagues, our fall leagues. And this year we added the league down in Dayton. So we have 2 fall leagues starting right now, September 13th. Dayton, Ohio is we're working with Brandy Hoskins. That's the GBA Brandy Hoskins fall league down there. It's going to be a great league down there running at Jeff, I believe at Bales Arena. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Kingdom Sports Center.
Kingdom Sports Center
on Saturdays.
And then
on Saturdays.
Yes. And then in Columbus at the TAD Sports Center in Granville, we're working with the Girls Leadership Basketball Academy, which is our 2nd annual the Elite Basketball League, and it is on Sundays. So we're those registrations for those leagues will start opening up. I'm hoping by the end of next week. So we have a lot of those things. And as Jeff said as well, if things happen to get pushed back by the state and by the High School Athletic Association, we do have some other dates secured in September that we can host maybe small events and do some things. And then we also have things going on in November and December.
Yep. Mike, we hope to get you back. You did a great job for us last year and was looking forward to having you call in a lot of games this year, but we'll get back after it. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Saturdays will be in Dayton, Sundays will be in Columbus or Granville for the leagues, which GBA TV will be there for some of that as well, and working with Brandy in Dayton and working with in Granville. And Diana, yes, it'll be on Sundays in Granville and Saturdays, and actually teams can play in both if they want. Right. Depending on where they live. I mean, they can play in both tournaments, and it's going to be open to individuals and teams, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I've had numerous questions with some people asking if they could play in both, and you absolutely can. So like Jeff said, and I'm glad he corrected me there. The day when Dayton is going to be on Saturdays and Columbus is going to be on Sundays. So
yeah, and it's working with Brandy Hoskins there, and then working with Tanya and Shaq with Buckeye, Ohio Impact. I guess they're Ohio Impact, Buckeye Impact.
Girls Leadership Basketball.
Yep. Basketball Academy in Columbus. So, and we worked with them last year, had a really good league. I think 270 kids was playing. Yeah. And it worked out real well. And, those girls was a big help. And we look forward to working with all of them.
And those that played in the league last year up in Columbus, we only had the 2 courts. So we that's why we moved it to Granville, because now we have 4 courts. So now we can get, I know with some groups had to wait around and things like, it was a long day. So we wanted to secure more courts because we had 270 kids playing. You're trying to get everybody in playing on some, they're playing 2 games. So we were able to secure another facility that had 4 courts. we're anticipating, more kids. So we're looking forward to another great fall with leagues up in Columbus and Dayton.
And those leagues, we will have that. However, we need to do that social distancing and bringing people in on we'll color code, if you're whatever you're playing, if it's one game or two games, that you will get some warm up time, but we'll have teams waiting or in a designated area so that we could get them in and out the doors and then open it up for the next group, and probably put a little more time in between games just so we could clean, sanitize, and do the proper protocols, whatever we need to do to keep the place safe and clean and go from there.
Yeah, both leagues will be run very similar. As the last year you played, with your grade, and you'll play back to back games. It'll be the same way. You'll play 2 games back to back. As Jeff said, that way we can. It helps us, keep the social distance, keeping the numbers, low, and then we'll get everybody out and then bring the new group in. So we're already working on that. We've got ideas and we kind of got a plan in place. So excited about that. And like I said, registration for both of those leagues, hoping to have it up by the end of the week. We're just waiting on our sports engine program to get all that stuff taken care of. So keep an eye on that. We'll post it all out on social media as well as our website at gbabasketball.com.
Yeah, we just wanted to come on for a few minutes. We haven't been on in a little while. Tell you where we're at. We're still thinking about everybody, and we're wanting to get back to normal soon.
Yes.
Amen to that.
All right, well, guys, if we'll go ahead and wrap it up tonight. We had a good audience there. We had a bunch of people on there, and thanks for everyone that asked questions, and just stay tuned to we'll keep you guys updated as soon as we know it. We'll let everybody else know it on our social media, Twitter page, Facebook, Instagram, as well as our website at gbabasketball.com. And again, stay tuned for the league registration as well, as that'll be up here in the next week or so. Tommy, thanks for joining us. Jeff, thanks for joining us as always. And take care, GBA Nation. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing everybody real soon.